On the morning of 2016, I prepared myself to run some errands. I had a burst of energy because I was getting ready to take our church youth group out for our first ever bowling outing. I decided to run some quick last-minute errands, get some signs together, some snacks for them to munch on, and just get some things in order so that way we can have a fun, exciting evening together. And it's funny how God works, how life works. You're doing God's work or you're doing errands and you're excited. And within a blink of an eye, you find yourself in a car accident. My name is Angel. I'm the host of Have Faith, Let It Begin. And this episode is called Car Accident.
Don't you see that your faith is coming alive? Don't you see that it's tested every time? He's the one that makes your life divine. He's the one that makes you feel fine. Your faith's being tested.
Hello everyone and welcome to Have Faith, Let It Begin. We want to thank all of your viewers for coming on this show and listening to another episode. We ask all of you to subscribe to our channel, to like us, to put some comments. That's going to help our show propel and advance to the next level. So we are asking and encouraging all of you, if you haven't done it yet, you can sign up to Spreaker for free and then follow us here. You'll get the notification on your phone. If you haven't got the app, do so. Log on to our channel and completely subscribe to us so that we can get that notoriety that we know we have already. We believe in our show, and we just want to show everybody out there that we do exist, we do have hope, we do believe in you, and we want to inspire and change lives each and every day. Folks, I'm going to share with you a story that happened to me. I was driving along a local road, and I was getting ready to go to youth group. For those of you that don't know, I run a youth group in my town. And I'm getting ready to go to youth group. And I stop at a Dollar General. I get some items, and as I'm pulling out of the Dollar General, I make a left-hand turn. I'm driving, and this is a side road, so this is one of those roads where as I turn onto the we'll call it a route, because it is a route. Once we turn on the route, it goes from 45 to 30 instantly. So I was able to reduce my speed to 30 miles an hour. And as soon as I reduce my speed, there is a local Dunkin' Donuts where a drive-thru is literally letting people out. Now, if you know my town, a lot of people don't slow down and let you go. I felt bad because I could see that there was about 6 cars ahead of us, and the cars were not letting certain people out. I took it upon myself to slow down and let a car out of the drive-thru area of the Dunkin' Donuts. So they came from my left and they merged onto my road and they became the car in front of me. At that moment in time, I decided to play a song because I was excited to go to youth group. So I went and pushed the radio. And I turned the radio on and I selected my iPod setting. As I was doing that, I had my foot on the gas, and in that second, when I was looking for that song and to turn it up, it was too late. Bang! I hit the car that I let in front of me. Now, the first thing I thought about was, oh my goodness, I hope I didn't hurt anybody. I hope I didn't put myself in danger. I noticed already there was smoke coming out of my car. We were able to pull off to the side, and I got out of the car. I went over to the young lady. There were 2 ladies inside, and she immediately came out and apologized. What had happened on her end, mind you, I'm not saying it was her fault by any means. I hit her, especially in New York State law. It doesn't matter even if it was kind of their fault. I'm not saying it was, but I'm just saying if it was, you hit them from behind, it's your fault no matter what. Well, the young lady jumped out of the car and said, "Are you okay? I'm so sorry. I stopped abruptly. I'm like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Are you okay?" And she's like, "I'm fine. It's my dad's car." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And what had happened, finding out later, is that she was coming out of the drive-thru, and her friend and her were in the car, and they're pulling out. Now, what happened was, before I let them out of the drive-thru, what had happened was they were having difficulty with their order as it was. So the person who was handing them the order was saying, they have to repeat the order and they hand it to you. Well, it was wrong, so then they had it mixed up. So by the time they got their bag of 2 coffees, and I believe it was, a food item, they wanted to double check because they just felt like the bag was still light. So when they were pulled out by me, and I let them out, they started to move forward, and in about 400 feet, they realized it was the wrong order, and she slammed the brakes. She slammed it so fast. Again, I wasn't paying attention, but it also didn't give me enough time because, again, here's that famous line: I assumed we were all moving in the direction, and when you assume, you know what happens. So, I hit her from behind, and she felt like it was her fault, and I told her it wasn't, and it was a good setting. Let's just say that. So the point of my story is how amazing God works. The lady that was in the passenger seat was working at her church, and she was trying to set up a youth group, and she couldn't figure out how to sell the youth group to her church. There were not enough people in the ministry that were willing to participate in youth group. So when she saw all the stuff in my back seat, which was thrown, forward, she was inspired by the fact that I did so much for the youth group. So as I was showing her the stuff, we're waiting for the police to arrive and stuff like that. One of the other ladies says, "You're bleeding." And I said, "No, I didn't know that. Where?" And I looked down, it was my hand. My hand had hit the dash so hard that I got scratched. When you bleed, it looks like it's bad, but when you clean it up, it's this little bitty scratch. But I was bleeding at the time, and they took care of me there on the scene, the girls. And I, at that point, reached out to the young lady and said, "If there's anything I can do for your youth group, if I can help you out with a presentation or anything I can do, let me know." And, some of you may think, "Well, wait a minute, man, you got into a car accident. Weren't you mad?" I wasn't, because, there's so many bad things that happen in this world where people get hurt, where people get injured. And I was grateful that I only walked away with a scratch. And that even though my car had some significant scratches, it definitely needed to go to it was about $6,000 worth of damage. I realized that it was something that definitely needed to be fixed. It was definitely an eye-opener for me. But I took away from it as an experience that God was in control. God, I believe, was there with me because He was telling me to slow down. I was rushing. I was excited. And, when you get excited, sometimes you don't pay attention. And that's what I think happened to me. I didn't pay attention. And I was excited. And God asked me to slow down. But at the same token, He reminded me just how important I was to my youth group, how important I was to others, and how amazing the gift of forgiveness can be. And they were forgiving of me for an error that I had, and they were forgiving of the people that messed up their order at the drive-thru. So what's the purpose of this episode? Things happen. We've talked about that many times. Car accidents happen. Injuries occur. Forgiveness is key. And I guess really what I'm trying to say to you today is, don't rush. You'll get to where you need to get to if you just take your time, if you give yourself enough time, and you prepare yourself for what may or may not happen. God is always in control, and just when you don't think He's watching, He sends you messages. He sends you a gift. And I'm grateful that on that day, no one was injured. No one got hurt. No one was angry. And I'm happy to report this young lady eventually got a grant and is now running a youth group. And that is what it's all about. So even though the title today is called Car Accident, I wish I could retitle it Car Accident Overseen by God. And that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. May God bless you, and may all of you have a safe drive home. And remember that when you're out and about, keep yourself and keep your eyes on the road. Pay attention, and always remember to have faith. Let it begin.